I beat him. And then over time, I realized that I was actually recovering from something, but it didn't hit me until I was halfway there. So the mental health benefits started to kick in at that point. Like,
I'm a person that practice something that's called semen retention.
Some
it's
people,
kind of extreme in my opinion.
I know gorgeous women that have like body dysmorphia is what you call it.
Oh.
That to have that to yourself in a good mental space where you're confident and you look like you want to look.
Listen to the tone of my voice. Can you imagine me walking up to a male trainer and say, hey, like, I need that barbell when you finish? You have to be a little bit more assertive to let them know that, hey, I'm here to take up as much space as you are taking up.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Fade the Conversation. We're talking about health, wellness, fitness, taking care of your body and your mind as well. We know both things are very, very important, but we invited two great people to be on board today to have some conversations about the difference between how men and women stay fit, how the dynamics are different for men and women as well. And we loved all the perspectives. We got some very, very good insight into it. So let's check it out. So guys, both of you have different fitness journeys, and we know that it's very different for men and women in the term of being fit and staying fit and what it takes from society's perspective and personal perspectives in order to maintain that health and wellness type of lifestyle. So Jigga, welcome back, by the way. You've been on the show before.
Yeah.
I'm sure life is very, very different now that the pandemic is over.
For sure.
And must be very busy. And
yeah, for sure.
Shant, I know you balance a 9 to 5 along with being a certified trainer. You have clients, you have so much going on as well. So I'm very, very sure that you guys have very different perspectives, but then still probably a common goal of just wanting to maintain fitness and staying fit. So Shant, I'll start with you first. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am a mom,
Okay,
firstly.
great. On top of everything, okay, great.
Work full-time, and I'm a personal trainer as well as you mentioned. So I'm always juggling a lot of things at once. And fitness is definitely my passion. It's always been a rewarding field for me.
Okay.
And so I'm glad to be here to talk more about that.
Okay, great. And Jigga, how long have you been a DJ formally, and then how long have you been in the gym?
DJ a long time.
Well, I know you as a DJ long time.
All my life, to be honest.
Okay.
And fitness took it serious during the pandemic, but before, on and off from 2016.
Okay. And what made you take it seriously? What started the fitness journey? You usually all have that one thing or that occurrence or that time that happened where you're like, no, I need to take it into my own hands now and start taking it seriously.
During the COVID, it was my release.
Okay.
It was that space where my workout and I don't think about not playing, not working, and then it became a form of meditation for me.
That's good.
Yeah.
Shant, what made you start? And when did you start?
My fitness journey started back in 2018.
Okay.
My son he was approaching like 4 years old at the time, and I was at home and somebody showed me a picture that they took of me.
Okay.
And I didn't like the way I looked
in the picture.
in the photo. I sat and I looked at it for a long while and I'm like, I have to do something about this. And so I joined the gym, started to work out. In the beginning, I really didn't know what I was doing. I think everybody kind of starts out
Yeah,
on the path that.
everybody kind of go through that little point.
Right, but after a while, I had to accept the fact that I needed help in order to get to achieve whatever goal I wanted at the time, which was purely to look good at that time. So I sought the help of a personal trainer, and I've been in the gym ever since.
Okay. You mentioned that, and I think that's something that probably happens to a lot of people. Like they get shown a picture and they're like, "That's me. That's really me. That's how I look every day walking around, and they couldn't tell me this." Like and like once you realize that because it's intrinsic motivation, especially if you're go to the gym in the morning, to get up out of your very, very comfortable bed. It's a difference. I'm tired of seeing those reels on Instagram of you can't stay motivated, stay focused, stay disciplined, or something to that effect. And it's a realist thing because to roll out of your bed and do that early in the morning takes a lot. And you have to really be disciplined in order to do that. So, yeah. Jigga, you had mentioned that you started your fitness journey more in COVID, but to be very honest, I remember, this was like probably 10, 12 years ago, I don't remember. When you won Heineken Green Synergy, you had on more weight at that time. Like, how did you lose weight to start? Like, I know she started gym in 2018.
Before I tried, dieting, lost about 25 pounds. 25. And then, that I did for 21 days. No sugar, no carb, no just lettuce and protein every day, and drink green tea. I lose 15 pounds in 21 days. Wow. Then 3 months I lose 25, but then it stopped.
Yeah, you get that plateau, right?
Yeah.
So then start workout. And then I have a trainer also. Do that for 3 months. Boy, I get abs and things. Boy, shirt them
ready.
No shirt.
New wardrobe,
outside. Everything. Yeah. So then after that, you notice you want to look a certain way, but then collarbone and look too slim. Never like how I look in a certain clothes and so I'm always in and out. Okay. But as I said, during COVID, it was my release, and then it's what it is.
Yeah, man, I can identify with that COVID thing because I started in the gym for a reason that most people, that it was purely health based, because keep parties for like over 10-15 years now.
Yeah.
After one party that I kept in Christmas, I got sick. I went to the doctor, and the doctor says to me that they took my blood pressure, and it's like, "So how many kids you have?" At the time I had no children, and I was like 24 at the time, and I was like, "I don't have any kids." I was like, "Well, your blood pressure is of somebody that is extremely stressed and has kids at your age." And I'm like, "Okay, clearly we have to do something about this." And he was like, we can put you on medication or you can start to work out. And I'm like, my high blood pressure runs in my family, and I know that those medications are, I don't want to say addictive, but you can't come off once you start, basically. You're right, there's a dependency on that. So started in the gym, blood pressure started to come down, and I said, "All right, cool." You like how you fit better into certain things as well. So you say, "All right, cool." You kind of start to make it a lifestyle. But for me, it was purely just, I don't want to go on high blood pressure medication, so I need to take this more seriously. And then, like I said, the rest is history. But you said when you started, it was mostly about, you going and you look fit. So.
Yes, it was purely the physical. I've always been on the smaller side, but at that point, I did have a high percentage of body fat. At first glance, I probably wouldn't look like I belong in the gym.
Okay. Or that you need to go.
Feel like, if you're going to the gym, you must be trying to lose weight, but no. So at the time, I just wasn't comfortable with the appearance, and so I put effort into that. And then over time, I realized that I was actually recovering from something, but it didn't hit me until I was halfway there. So the mental health benefits started to kick in at that point. Like, it started to look good, you start to see better, start to have a little bit more confidence, and then you reflect. I started to reflect on, certain behavioral trends at the time that I was in that space. And that is when I realized that this is something that I definitely have to keep going, just to ensure that I can be there for my son and be there for my family. It's really just a lifetime thing from there on. Once it hit me, that was it.
That was it. I mean,
yeah.
like I said, sometimes that's what gets you out of the bed about it in the morning, because, or whenever it is that you do decide to work out, or makes you do it even though you've had a rough day or you had a long weekend and you're like, don't miss a Monday type of thing. It's that mental health benefit that goes along with it. Because for me, I mean, I know that a lot of my best business ideas, a lot of how I attack my day comes from the time that I spend in the gym in the morning. I don't really talk to much people at the gym. I zone in and I just have the time to just think and clear my head. I just determine how I'm gonna make certain things work at that time. So so now that we know he's a DJ, what do you do outside of going to the gym and being a personal trainer?
I work in quality and production at Vista Print. So it's kind of a sedentary kind of job. You sit around the desk and you work for the full 8 hours. So for people who live that kind of lifestyle, it's a little bit more challenging to get in, to be a little bit more active. Okay. I have to get creative with people who live that kind of life. Like, if I have a client who sits at a desk for 8 hours, I tell them, hey, went to the supermarket, park at the back of the lot, walk to the supermarket, take the stairs instead of taking the elevator, things like that. So with working full time and being a personal trainer, it helps me to become just a little bit more creative in that sense, so I can help others achieve whatever goal I have. Because I have to do it myself.
Right, because it's relatable to you at the time. Yeah, okay, good. That's good. That's good, because a lot of people tend to look at their trainers as superhuman people that they've never missed a meal, or they only eat that 1 grain of rice that they're told to eat type of vibe. And trainers are people too. I'm sure trainers go out and they have friends, and they must at some point in time slip up or have a little cheat here or there. But then you guys, it's kind of like teachers. Like when we were in school, like you're not used to seeing a teacher in a certain setting, but I have to look at the camera wherever the camera is and tell you that your trainers are regular people too. It must be hard to balance, you keeping up with this lifestyle and then keeping up with everybody else's thing that you're telling them to do as well.
Yes, it is a challenge. There's rarely any room for error. Juggling a 9 to 5 and personal training, I have to plan down to the T. And I think one of the more challenging aspects of it is the emotional aspect, because can you imagine you have like a rough day at work and I have to go to the gym to ensure that my clients do what need to be done. I have to ensure that there's like a boundary between the two, because you don't want a bad energy in the gym,
you have to compartmentalize everything, and that must be difficult in and of itself.
Can you imagine, like, you wake up and you say to yourself, I don't want to go to the gym today, but I'm going to go, and you come in all slouchy and you see me and I'm slouchy too. And you can't afford that for that to
send them to work out and you just on the bench on your phone cussing people like I can't bother with all of this now.
It's very important for me to stay focused and always have a plan whenever I step into the gym with my clients, because it's an investment and nobody shows up just to waste time.
Yeah, that's true. So, I mean, they already showed up, so that should have been enough, like, to be honest, because just showing up is hard. What made you want to get certified though? Like, it's one thing to be fit and you have everything in control, you have the mental side of it, but what made you want to take it to that extra step of getting certified?
I feel like accreditation is definitely important, especially where respect is concerned.
Agreed.
And in this particular space, there is new information every single day. There are new studies every single day. You don't know everything. You will never know everything in this particular space. And so going into the gym is not so much about, all right, I'm your trainer, I'm gonna make sure that you work out and you're so tired when you leave, you can't walk. It's so much more than that. There's a nutritional aspect to it, there's a mental aspect to it, there's even rehab for injuries. It's really a wide spectrum. And so it was important for me to let people know that I know what I'm doing. Right. It's fine for you to look at me and say, all right, she looks good, let me see if I can do what she does. It doesn't have to work for you. It probably won't work for you. There's different approaches for different clients. Like, for example, I have a client who started with me, and within 2 months she lost a good amount of weight. But by the time we reached month 3, I was like, all right, something is wrong. Like, we're at here, we need to be here, and something is wrong. And so I decided to do some research, and that is when I found out that her blood type actually has a lot to do with how she loses weight.
Okay.
And so even though that information was there when I was doing my certification course, it wasn't very in-depth. But when I went and did the research, I realized, oh, they said something about this.
Okay. Good.
But I had to dig deeper in order to help her like come out of that rut. So the accreditation aspect of it is like kind of the tip of the iceberg. It basically warms you up and opens your mind to the other information that you need to seek out. So I made sure that I got that done.
Okay, that's good. A lot of people pick trainers just based on, how they look. Like if you look a certain way and I want to look like that, then you should be able to train me.
Especially the males. Because you guys go in the gym and you see a guy with big muscles and you're like, that's the person I need to work out with. But what they do won't necessarily work for you.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
But then he come back, you don't want no big belly man to train it. Tell the truth.
Yeah, but
this a man don't know why, man.
But then, I was about to say, Steve Francis is training both, and Steve Francis is, well built. A big part of it is enjoying the process too. Like, a lot of people will tell you that sometimes they can't maintain a certain weight, but I know people like yourself that you're trying to do that now. Like they enjoy getting bigger or getting smaller and then coming back and putting on the weight because they feel like they have the power to transform their body and determine what they look like, and that definitely helps your mental health space too. A lot of people will tell some people, and I know gorgeous women that have like body dysmorphia is what you call it.
Oh Lord, that's another topic for another day.
Wow.
Trust.
Yeah, I can't imagine what that is like, to be very honest, but I know that must be a very different struggle to like look in the mirror and not see what everybody else sees and all those kind of things.
Absolutely.
So to have that to yourself in a good mental space where you're confident and you look like you want to look, I'm assuming must be a very powerful thing.
I have mixed views on that.
Body dysmorphia?
Yeah, because all right. With for me, confidence is key. So it's like, as much as I am into, training, I like a thick woman. I like I'm not saying you go be big and fat and have big belly, but I like a thick woman over a slim girl.
Okay.
And it's not like I'm not saying No,
your preference is your preference completely.
You know what I mean? So a lot of the time, people speaking confidence into people is very hard. Because sometimes, as I say, them not believing in themselves. But I feel like all of them things they come back down from childhood days. Them never have nobody to motivate them, or maybe them parents used to tell them certain things, or school picnic used to gimmicks them and say, go away. So it come back down to a lot of them things. What that them hold on to, what them need to release and let go. So that's why for me, I always say, it always like that for me. Okay. I feel like it's deeper than just, just trauma them hold on to and all that.
I mean, that's a very, very good point. And you guys know that we're big on mental health on this show, and that has to be like an underlying factor at all times. Like, not only is it strong for you to get up out of bed and keep going, but then if you are seeing results, like, accept that. Like, a lot of people don't want to accept that they are actually making progress.
The mind plays a lot of tricks on you, and so you have to be very much like rooted into who you are trying to become as a person. It's a struggle. Body dysmorphia is a struggle for a lot of people, especially people on the smaller side who are trying to gain muscle. They probably don't get to put in 5 days this week and they feel like, all right, then I'm going to lose everything. It doesn't work like that. So also you have to stop putting yourself on these deadlines. Oh, I need to have this much muscle at this point. I need to lose this weight by this point. You put on 20 pounds, it didn't take you 2 months. It probably accumulated over a time. Or you lost some weight, probably over a month that you lost the weight. So, don't be so hard on yourself. Do what you can do what's in your power, and continue to work on yourself. Like that's like my biggest advice for people who are struggling.
I blame social media for a lot of that.
See?
Because we compare each other. Compare like, oh, him look like that and him not go to the gym like me, or they compare. I feel like a lot that, and we're going to get a lot more of that the next 5 years,
Everybody's
10
being
years.
influenced by
Something else other than yourself. As you're saying, you just have to know who you are. And once you know who you are, you know where you want to go. Until you know who you are, you will never know where you're going.
True.
Yeah,
I mean, and that's a big part of the reason why I asked the question as to why you want to get to originally, because a lot of people, I don't know if you see this as a trainer, a lot of people have a screenshot in their phone or something that they can be like, I want to look like this person. And it's usually somebody from social media.
Yeah.
And
you
like
don't even know what they're doing,
Exactly.
Especially the celebrities, they have access to insane things that you wouldn't even think about.
Steroids.
And that's what you want to compare yourself
to. Like you just getting up every day, going to your 9 to 5, working, have your kids and all them things. They're juggling a million of other things. You're trying to compare yourself to somebody.
With a private chef and a private gym and a personal trainer, 365, and a doctor and.
Yeah, man, them did weigh this little piece of corn before they put it in the meal and all them things. Yeah,
I'm not doing that. Me not weigh no food, because I eat food. Not tell me weigh nothing. Oh, count your macros. Nope. Hear me now. Give me my food. Drip, drip. Yes.
Easy for you to see. I'm happy for you. Very happy for you.
I know people that do like the complete opposite. Like the funny thing about it is, like especially carnival race people, having been a part of carnival and had something to do with it. Yeah. I've seen some people go through some things to fit into a carnival costume, and then you have the complete opposite of that, where you have, there are some absolutely gorgeous women who just look amazing. They don't have to do anything. They get up, they go to work, they eat absolute foolishness, and the body's great. So then
they're fortunate.
They're very fortunate, and then that at some point in time is going to make these people feel like, what is this person doing? I bet this person's doing this. They never really ask, because we as Jamaicans, we're proud people. When our girls come out, they're gonna say, so what are you doing? Yeah. Like, what are you doing? And then some people also, there's a lot of people that don't eat. Like I found out that there's a lot of people that do that. What do you call that? It's intermittent fasting. Right? So like some people does not gonna take on that. Like me, I can't miss a meal. Sorry, like not gonna happen.
I would never encourage anybody to go to any extreme. Like I feel like those things are very extreme and they're very short-lived.
Yeah, that's true.
Because how long can you fast for? We're human beings. We enjoy food. We enjoy alcohol. we enjoy living our lives. Like you have to fit in fitness into your life.
Like it shouldn't be the other way around.
Right. Exactly. You can't fast forever. You fast and you reach the goal. 1 month after you gain back all the weight. What you're going to do now? You didn't learn anything. During the time you were fasting, you learned about fasting.
No, you were just hungry.
You
were just hungry for 3 weeks.
Maneuver your life after you finish the fasting. You understand?
Right. Which is why I like the fact that you don't attach it to a goal or a deadline, because when you get to that deadline, you're like, okay, I made it into this, I fit into that, and then in another few weeks you're like, okay, I'm putting back on the weight, but I don't really know what to do now apart from not eating. So.
I did intermittent fasting. During COVID. Yeah, because at the time I never want to get big and fat. I'm scared of putting on a whole lot of weight. Cause remember, everywhere went closed whenever they got gym.
Yeah, no, that's true. And
me do intermittent fasting like for real.
So when gyms were closed, I even think I was talking to you about this at some point in time.
Stressed out.
I was longing to go back to the gym. I bought weights, I bought little things and everything, but every morning, 6 o'clock, put out the exercise mat and turn. I had the night training app was free for like a while. Yo, I stick to that, because I realized the alternative to this is just putting on weight with nothing to do about it. Like you couldn't go out, you couldn't do anything like that. So.
Not at all. So
you see how we're on opposite spectrums, because while I was home during COVID, I was so small. Like I lost everything and I lost it so fast.
Yeah,
because you strength train with weights,
right,
so you couldn't get the weights.
So the most I could do at the time was to just work on, do some push-ups, work on my body weight strength, but it's not going to do a lot for me, like physically, with the physical appearance is concerned. So everybody have that one struggle.
Okay, cool. So as a big part of it as well, knowing the right thing to do and like executing people and instructing people as to what to do is, I would say, just as important, even not more important, and probably looking the way that you look sometimes. Because you need...
I wouldn't even say that I'm super ripped right now. Like my current physique is not the best physique that I have had. But when I instruct and when I teach, it's going to be clear that I know exactly what I'm doing.
What was your first trainer like? I'll take it from you.
It was Kurt. You must know Kurt.
Yeah, I do know Kurt.
Yo, listen. That man, meaning like, what I can tell you about a trainer is this. A trainer push you. Like, even like, all right, you do 5, and no, you can do 2 more.
That's
so
true.
I would tell anybody, like, you're just starting out to get a trainer. And then you learn the form, the right form, what
form
to do.
Important.
All right, you have your meal plan, whatever. So, my first trainer, it was good.
Okay.
It set up that.
Set that bar very high from the one. Because, I mean, let's face it, guys. We all have that. When you have like, you're doing a set at 10 and you're at 7, and you know you can stop and nobody's gonna be like, yo, say, all right, cool, I'm gonna stop. That's it. But that additional push is really where the greatness kind of comes in.
That's
so
what it is,
what was your first trainer like?
My first trainer was Max. Shout out to Max. It was very different from what I used to do when I was just doing my little thing or whatever. It was very serious, serious work. What is important when it comes to personal training is having a plan. So your personal trainer has to have a plan for you. Merv always have a plan. I have an excuse, Merv has a plan. When I come in, I'm feeling tired, I'm having a headache, I want to go home. I have a plan. Come.
Don't worry about
it. You might not be able to go as hard as you normally do, but you'll be able to get something done. And so the accountability
is very important.
Is there when you have a personal. So Max always had my back. He introduced me to strength training, which at the time, I didn't know I needed to be lifting so heavy in order to gain muscle mass. I thought I needed to be doing some squats, but nothing too serious. And so I really learned a lot from him. And after a while working with him, he said to me, you know that you could do this? Like, I see where you have the potential to be a great trainer, because at the time, I started to learn things and I could correct him.
Nice.
Right? If him slip up or not, I'm saying, that makes sense. Let's revisit that. And so he always like motivated me to start, personal training.
Okay.
Here I am.
Jigga, it must be extremely difficult for somebody to have a job or a career like yours in being a DJ, work late nights to early mornings, and still maintain a good physique. Because the things that people eat at 2 a.m. when they're coming back home is not what is in Health Digest at all. And there's only so much bread and pan chicken that can affect your
egg sandwich.
Egg sandwich is key. You can't list the egg sandwich, not even for a minute. But tell us how you juggle that, or how you balance what you do versus maintain eating healthy and then going to the gym. How does that work?
So, it's mostly on weekends.
Okay.
So, because we play mostly on weekends, during the week, I just hit it full on. I try to do 4 days.
Oh, okay.
And 4 or 5 days.
Okay. Cool.
On and off, if I feel like, all right, more shirt I go come off. We go, all right, cool, here what? We do 6 days.
Nice.
But
nice.
I'm in the gym for 2.5 hours.
Serious?
Yeah.
No, man, yo, wow.
Because man, the strength training, so
nice.
you know
nice.
the rest period longer.
Nice. Because I do probably like an hour, 1.5 max, and then boom, gone about my day. Yo, that's
2.5 hours, 3 hours sometimes.
Yo, you live there. Like your meal go there and them something. That's serious.
Because you know the good thing about that is me have brethren and we work out together with 3 hours really.
Okay, well the accountability, like you had said before, like that's a lot of people hesitate about getting the trainers. Like, okay, cool, I already paid for the gym, do I already need to pay for a trainer? You know, get a friend, get somebody who's more serious than you.
Yeah.
That's probably a very, very important thing, because that I know that when you don't want to get up, you're looking for that text message like, they're not coming. No, you want to be sure that it's somebody that's going to go. That is a big part of it too, because you're not gonna feel motivated every day, but you have to try and find a way to stay consistent.
It takes dedication at first, but then the consistency push it through, and you know what you want. From you know what you want, you're like, you're just, all right, I want to say this more. But a lot of the time, people, they want the sexy body. Then after they get it, them stop.
Yeah.
And then that mess you up, because then you go back, then you have to do it over every time.
No, man, that's a good point, because a lot of people do it for a specific thing, like I'm going to this event in another 2 months and I need to fit into this dress, or I need to look this way, I need to take off my shirt.
I always encourage people to take this approach. If you're hesitant to get a personal trainer, that's fine. But fitness doesn't cost you. Fitness is free. Squatting in your house is free.
That's true too.
Walking up a hill is free.
Big up to the Nike training app. It got me through COVID.
Yeah, there's certain things that YouTube is free. You do, if you consider getting a personal trainer, it's an investment to learn how you can continue on this path for the rest of your life. Right? So you say, all right, I'm gonna get a trainer for 3 months. Your mindset at that time might be, all right, I need to fit into this dress. The trainer is going to whip me into shape. I'm not a drill sergeant. For one.
You sure that's your final answer?
I'm not a magician either. I'm here to facilitate the work, right?
True.
And I'm going to ensure that you're getting it done properly. You're not injuring yourself. I'm going to give you the blueprint, right? So you don't necessarily have to have a trainer forever. I mean, it's impractical. It probably works.
I like you mentioned the fact that you're not a drill sergeant, but if you or anybody else you know has been drilled into doing drills by Chantell, there may be a hotline you can call at some point or another. But
listen. I do what needs to be done. Okay, we'll leave it at that.
Fair enough. So there's always that other thing, that the physical side of it, on the mental health side, but is there anything that you do outside of, literally waking up and going to the gym, Jigga, that you feel helps that healthy feeling that you have, or that allows you to live the lifestyle that you do now?
So, as I said in the previous, I meditate every morning.
Okay.
So, mental health is very, very important to me.
I couldn't agree more.
And I see my life change during, how much better now? 557 years.
Oh.
So people always ask me, like, why may have on my status I have day 1, day 2. So 557 days.
Nice.
Every morning, meditate. Every morning.
Nice.
Like 20 to half an hour.
Nice.
Every morning. Like people have affirmation, all these things every morning.
Nice.
So for me, even when I'm playing out at home, have that moment in the bed. Some people sit up and meditate. Some people, like me, I lay down, because meditation is very easy, it's very easy. So what you do is just being present in any given moment. So even this conversation can be a form of meditation, because we're completely present. I'm looking at you directly. Nothing else. We're not thinking about anything. You're not stressing about anything. So that's how my morning starts. And then I don't eat in the morning. I don't eat in the morning.
Oh, you don't eat in the morning? Okay, cool. That was my thing so far. Good.
What do you eat before you go to the gym?
Most times, nothing.
Why?
90% of the time.
When I was talking to her probably like before we started this, and she was like, this was like 9 o'clock or 9:30 in the morning. She's like, I would normally be on my second meal by now. I'm like, what?
Yes, yes. Because I have to get in at least 5 meals a day. So it's volume eating, but here's why. The food that I'm eating are very calorie dense.
Ah, okay.
So, you're probably eating some sweet potatoes, not a lot of calories. So if you want to ensure that you're hitting a certain goal by the end of the day, you have to split up the meals, because you can't sit down and eat 300 grams of chicken breast and then something. So you have to switch it up. You split it up in like 1 or 2 meals. I have to start eating from 5 a.m., 5:30. Especially if it's a day where I know I'm going to train, and currently I'm doing more powerlifting stuff.
Yeah,
so I have to start eating at that time, and my last meal is probably like a little bit after 8.
Okay. All right. So there's also a big part of some people's routine is how they approach going to the gym, or how they approach. You're gonna have a hectic time or a hectic week ahead, and you want to balance that with the gym. How do you do that?
Well, so I'm a person that practice something that's called semen retention.
Okay.
So now semen retention is where you harness your sexual energy. So now harnessing your sexual energy is meaning like you don't have sex. So you don't, or if you do have sex, you don't come as a man. So the longer you can hold that for your energy, you have more energy, because that's how our creative energy as man flows. Okay. So for a woman can always notice a woman after sex can get up, wash, cook, clean, look after her pitney then. You know what I mean? Like scrub down the place, everything. And a man did a lay down, drop on the leaf, snow down the place, bridle, killing lip. You know what I mean? No, because we as man, we lose energy that way. Okay. But a woman lose energy when she sees her cycle. So that's the difference. Okay. So as a man, we have to learn how to harness our sexual energy.
No, I've heard athletes say that. I've heard people that are like pro football players or marathon runners say they just don't have sex prior to this engagement because they know that it somehow drains their energy. But I know that a lot of people have to balance that as well, because you don't want it to be a situation where, for example, you're somebody that has a high sex drive and you're giving that up because you want to have you want to hit some goals in the gym, but then that affects other things. Like how does that how you balance that?
So,
or how would you suggest that?
So here what you do now. As a man, what you can do is, all right, because you have your wife, right? So you have to satisfy your wife. So what you can do, if your wife understands, you can, but you just don't.
You just don't.
You don't finish.
Okay.
You go to the finish.
Okay. Cool.
Right?
Okay.
So, a lot of time, enough people are gonna say, yo, but that's the aim. Not all the time.
Okay.
You see me?
Okay.
Because, so the point of sexual intercourse in the first place is for the creation of a child.
Procreate. Yeah.
Right? So if at this moment you don't want to create a child, what you can do as a man, you can hold that energy instead of letting it out. Because as I said before, and the next thing with semen retention, it helps with focus.
Okay.
It
helps you to focus more because you somehow held it together.
Because you're going to spend your time, or you're going to eat, or you're going to sleep, or you think about the next woman, say, So, it helps with your focus.
Alright, cool.
Alright.
Very different.
I challenge anybody, just try it. And I guarantee, just try it.
Very different approach, especially for a DJ, I would say. Because a lot of people tend to look at it as, like I said, I've heard it before, but it's always pro athletes. I don't know what your thoughts are on the whole semen retention thing.
Listen, if you are going to try that method, just ensure that it's worth it.
Okay.
Ensure, to each his own.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has their own.
Ensure that it is worth it. Can you really want to put yourself in that position at the sake of what? So think about your why. Why am I doing this?
Right, cool.
It's fine to experiment. That's how you find out what works for you.
Right.
So just make sure that it's
And-
worth it.
and for some
It's
people-
kind of extreme in my opinion because bodybuilders especially
Yeah.
practices
Do
that,
that. Right,
you
yeah,
know. But it's kind of the same thing as, all right, fine, I need to save a certain amount of money by a certain amount of time, so I'm going to do this. Right? I'm not gonna go, so I'm not gonna eat out. So look at it from that perspective. Like, what are you doing it for?
Okay, cool.
Right?
I was about to say that because everybody has a different experience. We're all built differently, and there are some people that will tell you that they go to the gym, and after going to the gym, that is when their sex drive is the highest.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that is for them must be like torture at that point in time, like because they. Like, we go to the gym, we might go home, have a cold shower, we just go about our day. Some people just, that is when their sex drive is at their highest, they just have to get it out, and that is it. So everybody has their own
Like you mentioned, women losing energy when they're menstruating. Why women, we only have like one good week out of the month. We're always going through something, whether it's ovulation, PMS, you're on your cycle. But what is interesting is there are women who are actually strongest on probably like the second or third day of their cycle.
Serious?
Yes, like facts. So, especially because I have a lot of female clients, they tend to try and use that as, oh, feeling so drained. You'd never know what you are capable of. First day, I understand you're feeling cramped. You probably just want to roll over in bed. By the second day, you'll be surprised of what you can do. And it's something that I've experienced myself, and I said, no man, what's going on? And I looked into it and I'm like, oh, now you don't necessarily have to train around your cycle, but you know, there's always things that you can do to switch things up and make it manageable when you're going through that. Because some women are just like elite, and some women are just, you know, they're trying. They want to get them there. So, you know, to each his own. That's it.
How do you handle, first of all, do you have any male clients?
I do have male clients.
Alright, so
how that work?
I think you kind of know where I'm going with this, but we'll go on with it anyway.
When I decided to start personal training, I said to myself, I'm not gonna train males.
Really?
When you've been in the fitness,
we're deeply hurt. That's why
I'm sorry, but I'm writing it off.
You know?
When you've been in the fitness space for a while as a female, there are certain things that you experience and there are certain things that you witness. And I was like, I don't want to put myself in a position to ever be on the receiving end of
that. Okay.
You know, whatever happened. And so as time went on, and you know, you get a little bit more knowledge because as I said, like I'm always researching, I'm always reading. The difference between training men and women is really not that big of a difference. The anatomy is the same. The difference is mainly the hormones and the attitude. You know, as I mentioned before, there are males who are more receptive to other males.
Okay.
They don't necessarily want to listen to you as a female. Like they feel like for some reason I could have all the certifications from A to Z. They feel like you don't know what you're talking about. And I'm the kind of person that will debate you, but when I notice that you're not receptive enough and you're not listening to me, I'm like, that's it for me.
Done.
And so it's easy for me now to figure out if you're serious or not, because if you're coming to me on a professional level and you're inquiring about training, I will know based off the way you greet me and based off the way you're inquiring about certain services. If you're gonna jump in my DM and be like, oh, I need to have a leg day with you, it's a no for me. It's a no for me. Yeah. And so when you're looking to join a team, there's like a vetting process for everybody. Okay. So we're gonna talk via whichever medium you decide to reach out to me. And then we're gonna have an in-person consultation. And if at the end of that I realize that you probably don't need me, or two, you're not serious and you're here to waste my time as a male.
Okay. Normally, I mean, I can't wrong you for any discrimination that you'd want to put in for males and females, because I feel like even if a woman comes in, she doesn't necessarily know what she wants, then you would have probably more work with her to get that done.
Exactly.
So I always wonder about that, because I mean, there are women that go to the same gym as me that are trainers and they are fit. Like they are fit, they are strong. They could and they have male clients as well. But I always, because this is somebody that has to talk to you at late hours of the night, early morning, and they have to instruct you. I was wondering how that dynamic works with female trainers, because you have to assert yourself and then not be disrespectful, and then there's so many double standards. Yeah, the boundaries must be very difficult.
Boundaries are very important. Thankfully, with the males that I've worked with, I haven't had any experience that made me feel uncomfortable, because as I said, like, we're gonna have the conversation in the initial stages, and we are here to work. Like, there are instances where the male will feel like, all right, I'm not gonna listen to you, but as a personal trainer, I'm gonna make you pay for that, right? You're going to pay for not listening to me, because
I agree.
That's what I'm here for.
Exactly.
I'm here to help you, so let's get the work done. Let's not do any unnecessary stuff. Like, it's a professional relationship.
Exactly.
It's just like you having a female boss or a female manager. So
40 minutes? Cool, no problem. So the dynamic that I was trying to kind of bring out at the time was, if you as an attractive trainer have had an issue before with men that are trying to make it more than about the gym type of situation, how do you just navigate over? Is it just you just have to no longer doing this, or you find a way to still manage it and let them understand, or you'd rather just cut it off?
Well, I haven't had that experience with any males that I've trained. Like, there hasn't been a situation where I had to discontinue training with a male. But as a female in the gym, people are going to approach you. Men are gonna approach you, but you have to firm and strong in this. Like,
Agreed.
Somebody comes to you with any kind of inappropriate conversation or argument, listen, I don't have time for this. Yeah, like, let us move on. Women are so timid in the gym. They're so intimidated by like the presence of males. Like, there are women who will show up and a man says something about them and they don't come back. They don't come back to the gym simply because of that. So males, you need to do better. And secondly, women, hold your ground, because you are paying a membership just like everybody else. You have a right to use the space just like everybody else. But I haven't had any, thankfully, any situations like that where I had to stop working with somebody because of that, because serious woman.
Okay, good. and as it should be, to be very honest, because you take your thing very seriously, so you should demand a certain level of respect.
Exactly.
There's a point in conversation, so usually in these conversations we kind of throw it out to some people and get their feedback. And one of the things was that a friend of mine, a female friend of mine, asked was that Jamaican men tend to have this dynamic, like, okay, they want a woman who's shaped like this and look like this and belly flat, and then they can look like whatever they want, like type of thing. So we always want to like get a woman's perspective on these things as well, because Jamaican man want a certain type of woman that's in a certain type of way, but then we don't feel like we're held to the same standard. So I know when people say to me, say, so why you bother go to the gym, cause you have two pick-me already, or you're married? It's almost as if like someone is supposed to care how me still look and feel after that. How does that go for, have you encountered that scenario already where somebody that is, let me say no, men, like a man that doesn't think that he needs to maintain a certain level of fitness because, he has money or whatever the case is.
I mean, I will agree with you. It's very, very common for, female to take the physical aspect of, their life very serious, more serious than the males. But here's what I want males to understand. Even though the physical aspect is important, think about training for your life. when you're approaching 40, 50, 60, and you are, let me say, on the heavier side, or the effects of that start to weigh on your bones, that you can't run behind your child, you can't pick up the child, you can't bring the groceries in 2 trips. So even though you feel like, all right, I'm the man, I have money, I have this and I have that, and I can attract a female, for yourself, if you are starting out, I would encourage you to think about it that way.
Okay.
Right? Because the women are going to be there. Women are going to be there, you know, which is someone need to do. Women are going to be there. But what about you? What about your health? What about you being there for your family and just being a better version of yourself?
Agreed. I mean, that's one big motivator for me, that, to be frank with you, I intend to watch my kids grow up. And that's one of the things that I want to be able to, you know, still do things and still run behind them and still have a very active role in their life. And
right.
I mean, I'm not saying, and I'll say this in the camera, it's not that we're saying that going to the gym or exercising guarantees you being able to do this and have a longer life, but it just makes the chances far better. So find a way to do it in some way, shape, or form.
Plus health is wealth.
Yeah, no, like, because so that's another thing that I want to touch on, because a lot of people will say that they've given up, you know, having a healthier lifestyle simply because, you know, they were so ingrained in working and doing exactly what they want. But then I've seen people personally that have millions and millions of dollars, they have a lot of money in the bank, and they spend a lot of it back on health and medical bills and them type of things. So you kind of have to look at it and say, there has to be some balance. You can't factor in, you know, making an additional, let us say, how much million today, in addition to spending it back in just health and medical bills later down.
That's why I say train for your life.
Yeah, man.
Train to work out to live your life as easy as you possibly can. Right? And
that's one of the things that why I look at fit people and I already have like a different respect for them, because you can't buy that. Like some people will say, oh, you know, you could do your little BBL, or you could do what you want to do with the money.
And right back in the gym now.
Because they try to maintain it. You have to maintain it, right? But then you see somebody that, you know, that like you can look at, and fit people do this all the time. They look at other fit people and go, I'm a personal fit man. And I already have that respect for them, because you know they probably gave up some amount of time, or they wake up early in the morning, or they do it late at night. So the sacrifice is where the respect comes from, because you know that is easily the hardest part. That is the part that required a lot to begin with, and especially me, you know, anytime I see somebody coming into the gym and you can tell it's like them first day and them very heavy set and them out of shape, I have respect for those people too, because them people you know, it take a lot to show up. It take a lot to go against whatever people are saying and whatever habits you have and all of those kind of things, and show up, and then show up consistently. So big up to those people.
Admirable. Definitely.
How hard or easy is it navigating in a space that's dominated by men? Meaning, like, you will lift heavy. Like, you will, I don't know if you're looking to go into bodybuilding at any point in time or anything like that?
I do not see myself competing in bodybuilding.
Okay.
I'm more of a strength girl. I'm more of a powerlifting girl.
Okay, good. But and from what I've seen, there are more male trainers than there are female trainers.
Absolutely.
So in terms of how do you navigate that space, like when you're not only getting certified, but then you're in a setting with other trainers, do you find that it is, you know, easier for you to navigate it, or it is harder because of what you have to do to gain respect?
I feel like the reason it's probably not as hard for me is because I'm very confident in the service that I offer to the people I'm working with. The respect comes when other trainers see that your clients are achieving what they set in, what they come in to achieve. And so that's when they start to recommend you, and that's when they will come over and give you little ratings and stuff and move on. But it's definitely male dominated, and you have to hold your ground. You really have to hold your ground in the gym as a female, because listen to the tone of my voice. Can you imagine me walking up to a male trainer and say, hey, like, I need that barbell when you feel sometimes they barely even like hear me. You have to like raise your voice a little bit. You have to be a little bit more assertive. to let them know that, hey, I'm here to take up as much space
as I possibly
as you are taking up. Okay. I'm not intimidated by one bit because I have a solid team of people and they know what they're there to do. And so I have respect for a lot of the male trainers. I learn a lot from them. It's just a situation where you need to learn time and place. Okay. I understand like time and place is very important. Like if you see me working and moving around the gym, like as a man, now is not the time. No, it's not the time.
Shoot your shot a little later.
Yeah, not even so much as like shooting your shots or whatever. Like if I'm setting up for a client and you need something that you realize that I'm using, you have to be like, please be respectful about it because I try to do that as well. Like when you're sharing a space and everybody trying to get something done, I try to be as respectful as possible. How many sets you have left? Can you call me when you finish? You start to form like a little family in a sense, especially when you're in one gym space. And so, it's gotten a bit easy for me to navigate now.
Now, as people that have been seasoned and going to the gym for a minute, like, what is your goal? Like, what is your ideal weight goal? What's your ideal body goal? Or is there somebody that you kind of look at and it's like, yo, I need my body to look like him or her at this point in time?
For me, I feel like that's always going to change, especially because I'm interested in learning so many things. Last year, I was doing more bodybuilding stuff, more hypertrophy stuff, more muscle building stuff, and now I'm actually doing powerlifting, so there's not a lot of emphasis on muscle growth. It's purely like strength. As I mentioned before, my physique is a bit different now, but the strength is there. So I'm always going to be doubling in little things. Like, you soon see me at the yoga, you soon see me at so I'm probably going to always look different, and I have to be like at peace with that because I'm trying to learn, so I can't really like just kill up myself about the appearance all the time.
I like that because at the end of the day, you'll be able to advise different people on what to do in different settings as well. So that's cool.
Yeah,
I like that. Okay, so what is the ideal physique now? Because I know Jigga that's bolt and ripped, and I don't know which one of the Jiggas I'm gonna see in another 2 months.
I know, shirt. To be honest, I kind of figure out where I want to be now. I try the abs thing, too slim. More and be a little bit, more husky. Okay. Yeah, so maybe, now I'm 207.
Nice.
So I try go 220, then come back down to 207 or 205.
Okay.
So that's
muscle.
Ball can lead.
So so I might go maybe 220, 225. So people go see me look a little bit bigger and then come back down slowly. Okay. But maintaining muscle mass is very hard.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And
very.
Yeah, guys, now that we're 2 fit people here, we have 2 fit people here. We're gonna do a little push-up challenge and see who win. So we can check it out and see how it ended. All right? I'm sure the results will shock you.
Nah, man, I lie.
All right, guys. So we just had a little push-up challenge between Jigga versus Shanti. I'm very, very interested to see you one, and I know you are too. So let's check it out. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
How much you guys going to?
15, 16, 17. All right, my son. Yes. All right, cool.
Beat him.
All right, well, yo, appreciate it tonight, guys. Thank you. I definitely appreciate you guys taking the time. Cheers. Cheers here with you.
But cheers, my water.
Yeah. And we'll talk soon. All right?
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, guys.
Nah, man, I lie. So you win.
Me winning now.
Who win? You win?
I'm sure about it.
Alright, so. May I give you winning? If you say you win,
The fact that I go up against is a win too. Look at that.
Wow. Don't take that one.
But make sure you enjoy yourself.